Hey guys, welcome to another review. I am Mr. P, and today I will be doing this beast. This is from FastTech, the Panzer style mechanical mod 26650 stainless steel plus brass. So it's basically like the original Panzer, okay, but huge. So that's what I'm doing today. A bit of info about it just briefly. Whilst we're here, price on this £15.57. So call it 16 quid if you like. 16 quid for a stainless steel and brass mod. Not too shabby. This got delivered fairly quickly, 2.5 weeks using their standard post, which I'm happy about. And like I say, it's 26650. Me and Worm said a while ago it was going to be the year of 26650. I still believe it is. For me, it is anyway. So I couldn't help myself when I saw this. I love the Panzer clone that we got sent from Angel 6. I loved that, and that in itself made me want one. And when I saw that FastTech had cropped up with this, I had no choice. I was compelled to buy it. So what I'm going to do, chuck you onto the table real quick and show you a close-up of it just so you can see it in all of its details and beautifulness. Then I'll come back up to me and do the normal and chat your ear off. Right guys, welcome to an up close of the 26650 Panzer style mechanical mod, as it's so called. This is stainless steel brass, but I would have said that already, no doubt. So let's just delve into it, I suppose. First of all, unlike the other Panzer, you know, your 18650, 500, 350 and your genuines, this is 18650 only, no telescopicness going on in here. You have got a top cap. You've got a switch, and you've got a big tube. Big tube, this one. Now, it's hard for me to put it into context. You know, if you see the King review, let me just sort of show you. You saw the King review, you'll see how big I said this thing was. The Panzer is bigger than this. You can see the whole bloody thing down the middle of the Panzer, let alone from the external. This is a big beast. 10 ml bottle of e-liquid. It's ginormous. I don't, even on camera, guys, you're still not picking up on how big this is. But anyway, you will know that because it's a big mod. Now, as far as this goes, it's a fairly simple stainless steel tube. It is stainless steel, like other clones and the legitimate. You know, you've got your cut and then routed edge here. You've got your vent holes down here, reversible top or bottom, depending on your preference. I like it at the bottom. Grooves, you know, bit of sort of, it's very busy on here, but it works. Other than that, guys, it's really not a lot to be told. The inside threads, they got a couple of little burrs, but nothing major. You know, and these at the bottom, to be honest, they feel much better. But other than that, no, it's just a steel tube. That's all it is. Holds a battery. So there you go, tube there. Let's pop her out of sight. Oh, where do we start? Let's go with the switch. So switch, like the you know, the smaller versions, very much the same, just on a bigger scale. Reverse threaded, love that. Does get a little bit stuck here and there, but not a major problem. Other than that, brass switch, brass contact, push it in. You've got a dowel insulator there that sits just off your switch there. So you know, obviously making sure your battery's not making constant contact, and as you push the button, there it is. Alright, threadings around here seem very nice. I'm going to take this apart just to see what it is in here. And obviously you've got your brand in there, 457, that's my one. So we're a spring, we're not magnets. Oh, let's throw it out. So I mean, this is very simple in fact. Switch. There you go. Fully disassembled in seconds. That there is a hunk of brass. I mean, I've felt, you know, 18650 mods that are lighter than this bit of brass. Very, very heavy. As you can see, I haven't polished it up, but quite like the patined look on the Panzer, which is one of the first for me, because I'm not a big fan of the patined look. Now, when you're sticking it back together, obviously, your switch does have a bit of sort of cut there, so you can slop it over the threads. So, don't forget it's reverse threaded when you stick it on, and you're going on backwards, like so. Fairly simple stuff. I prefer to stick the top part in first. All it is a brass contact, just drop her in there, hold it in place with your finger. Stick the spring over your bottom button and start screwing her in. fairly simple stuff. Now, I'm not going to do it on camera because it's a pain in the bum, or I suppose I might as well. Always, 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 with this, grab these and give it an additional tighten, purely because every mod I find, if I don't do that, the button starts to undo, and this one was just as bad for it as any. So that's the bottom, which just screws on. Oh, hello, nearly dropped her. Screws on nicely into there. Okay, now top cap, everything you'd expect going on here if you're looking at the Panzer. You know, you've got sort of a sandblasted finish in there with your nuclear single around there, and then obviously your cog, and then your polished. So this is I wouldn't go full polished. I mean, it's very polished, but when I look at it in this light under this kind of camera, it's not as polished as it could be. So I'm going to say sort of semi-ish polished, finished. Obviously you got your branding, dum dum dum, naughty peoples, and then you got your top positive contact insulation, obviously black bit of Delrin, and then you know your adjustment in there. Now when I first got this was screwed down incredibly tight. I had to get some pliers on this to undo that contact, but there you go, that contact is there. Whilst we're talking about incredibly tight, the 510 at the top here, I found it to be no problem at all, but that positive contact in there. Now, if you had a Panzer clone from FastTech, you'll know that it was the 510 was adjustable, but you had to give it a knock with a hammer or and a nail or something the first time to get it out. This one is particularly bad for it, so much so that it took several knocks with a hammer for me to get this contact out. This is adjustable, self-adjusting. Okay, if you screw an atty on, it will pop out, but it is made to be so tight that you're better off whacking it out with a hammer, and it is going to take some effort, and then sanding it down. Now, I say this and I haven't actually done it yet myself, but that is, that will be what needs to be done to make that happen. So, there you go. Other than that, if you take that out and just give that contact a little sand down, or the insulator may be a bit easier for you, if you just want to drill it out, be careful because you're talking about very, very fine measurements here. It would be perfect, it needs to be a little bit snug, but it's ridiculous at the minute. Other than that, let's screw it back together. And Bob's your uncle. Now, I did sister this with another clone from FastTech just because I thought, why not? And this is the 30mm 20mm K-Fun. Review of that is probably going to be after this mod, but if not, it's already done, so I hope you enjoy watching it. But that kind of is the pairing I kind of like there, and that's what I've been running with. So I think I've covered pretty much everything. What I'm going to do now, guys, is grab this little setup and come back up and have a nice little vape. Right, guys, that was the up close, or the close up of the 26650 Panzer. So, just to rehash a few bits and bobs. Well, there's not really a lot to go over, to be honest with you. It's a mech mod and it's fairly simple in construction. But just to rehash, one thing I forgot to say, although I did mention about tightening the button up and about it undoing, that did happen, but it was over a long period of time. The main problem is that when this locking ring was fully locked, and I put it fully unlocked, sorry, and I put it down, because of a bit of sort of undoing in the switch, it would fire. Whereas you tighten it up, that doesn't happen. Although it's got a locking ring and that's what it's for, let's face it, we're all lazy and we stick them down without locking them. So, that stopped it for auto firing when it was put down, and for that reason, it's worth tightening it up. It's not magnets in there, it's a spring, but to be honest with you, makes no difference whatsoever. If the spring does wear over time, then stretch it back out, or put a new one in, no problem. So, I'm just going to read you through a bit of the bump before we go over some more stuff. A few of the specs that it states. Adjustable positive contact. We'll go into that. Brass contacts. 510 threaded connector. Yes, it is. 4 vent holes on the outer body. 1, 2, 3, 4. Indeed. Random serial number 457. Seems random to me. Bottom spring-loaded switch, reverse threaded locking ring, both correct, and houses a single 18650 battery sold separately. So yeah, all spot on there. They have got many versions of this, guys. One thing I did want to get into this before I continued, and I'll do it now because otherwise I'll forget, is that they've got rainbow versions and that kind of stuff, and that's great. If you're going to buy the rainbow version, beware, because it's been flamed, and that, if not done correctly, can do serious damage to your conductivity and your voltage under load. But the main one was they do sell this with the reducer, so it'll take an 1800 series battery, and that comes at a cost of just over 25 quid. How ridiculous. I mean, they're offering it, and it's great they're offering it, and it's nice to have the option, but if you're looking at this mod with them adapters, please comment and tell me why, because I don't get it. Why would you buy a 26650 mod that is ridiculously heavy, more expensive than the 1800 series, and then it's more expensive and more still by a tenner because of the adapters, and then use an 1800 series battery in it? It just makes, I'm boggled, I really am. I don't know why that's there, but it is. So if you wanted the connectors, you could use 1800 series in it, they're there. I'm sorry, it just is, seems stupid to me. The positive, the adjustable positive, it's adjustable by hammer, is what it's adjustable by. It is such a tight fucking fit. Even now, I've had it out 3 or 4 times, and I thought it might wear, it might, you know, someone might have glued it thinking they were funny or whatever. No, even now, every time I want to get it, move it up or down, I have to hit it with a hammer. Part of it's laziness on my side because I haven't sanded it down. But to be honest with you, I haven't got the time to sit there and sand the contact down. I've got better things to do at this particular moment in time, so I'll have to wait until I do have time, and for that reason it's still relevant in this review, and there you go. It's so tight. Do not buy it expecting a adjustable positive, because although it's claimed to be, and it can be, when you get it, it's not going to be. It's going to be super fixed. I had an Atty I don't care about on there, and I was going trying to get it to move, and it just wouldn't move. So yeah, that is the biggest gripe with this, and I'll say it now because it is the biggest gripe with this. Other than that, threaded connector 510, material stainless steel and brass, battery type interchangeable. I'm guessing it depends whether you buy the spaces or not, but you can change the 2650 battery if you like. Dimensions 32.6 at its widest. That's big. 102 millimeters high. 289 grams. I mean, this Atty's nearly 200 grams. That's nearly 300 grams. Chuck a battery and a tank full of juice on there. It's just half a kilo setup. This is 300 grams for that mod, basically. It's heavy. It's very heavy. I said it before, I say it again, if I threw it at you, I would kill you. Let me just scoot back up this page very briefly. Now, with exception of the positive, there's only one other thing that this Panzer has that's an issue, and I will go through that in a minute. But before I do, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start a 5-point hit list, just because otherwise I'm going to ramble on like a bloody idiot and still get nowhere and just do this. So, first of all, looks of the Panzer. Now, even though this is a clone that's been exaggerated, so technically, I suppose technically this is an original item, just styled after another one. The credit has to go to them still, but you know, it has to go to a MCV, but it's still, you know, for me, the looks, I think it's awesome. It's different, which is what I said in the Panzer review, the clone that we did from Angel 6. If you want to check that out, go ahead. But it's different, you know. There's not many out there that's like this, and I like that. I like the stainless steel. I like the combination. There's brass there, but a little bit. So if you know your brass strip tip or a bit of brass on your Atty will match, and you'll get away with it without it looking silly. But not so much that you can go 50-50. It's very little bit of brass. I like that. I think the logoing is done pretty well. The engraving on the bottom's done actually very well. It's a 10. I love it. I love how this thing looks. And in big mode, it's better. For me, better. Because this mod's meant to be big. It's huge. And even as an 1800 series, it's big compared to others. And this just suits it for me. So looks for me is going to get a 10. Usability, I mean, yeah. Usability, you chuck a battery in it, you make sure it's charged, and you use it. Fine. The gripes that come up along the way, the positive contact being adjustable. Alright, that's one gripe. The other one with it is the switch. Now, it works, and it works every time. But, if you can hear that, and then you can hear that. I don't know if you'll be able to audibly hear it like I can, but you push it sort of, you have to just get it in the right way, or else it does not fire properly. You're losing power. it feels like you're getting half the battery's power as opposed to the full kick that these 26650s can provide. And it's hard to work out why, but that's what happens, and it is frustrating because you'll push it, especially, I mean, it's 26650, chances are you're using this because you want to go low and you want to go pro and you want to blow clouds. So when you go to blow a cloud and you only get half the power, it really affects how your atomizer performs, or worse than that, it arcs and makes the button hot. So that is a problem. But all you have to do is make sure you push the button right. It's still getting a 5 for that switch alone and that top cap. They're pains in the arses, and it affects the everyday use, and that affects everyday use because you having to adjust constantly using a hammer with the atomizer, and you're not getting the full hit of the battery. So for me, usability is getting a 5, and it could very simply be a 10. So sort it out, FastTech. Maintenance, well, there's so little brass on here, I don't ever feel the need to polish it. I would never feel the need to polish it because, to be honest with you, on this mod, with that kind of logo on the bottom, the patina, you didn't really say it, did you? But, you know, the patina suits it. And I'm not a fan of the patina look, but with this mod, love it. So, there's no polishing involved with the brass. But if you did, it's very minimal brass and it's all disassemblable. You can take it all apart and access it on its own. So you could not even bother with the stainless steel, or you could wipe a cloth over the lot and be done with it, if you could be bothered to clean it at all. Other than that, clean your contacts. That is something you do want to do, just to make sure you're getting that, you know, clean conductivity throughout your mod. Stick a battery in it, make sure it's charged. The maintenance is a 10. A mech mod has to be, I don't know, designed to the point where it doesn't even work to not get a 10 for that. So either that or made of, I don't know, bloody copper and God knows what else. And even then I would give it a 10 because I enjoy cleaning the mods, but some people don't. So there you go. Build quality and price of this. It depends on your outlook. I mean, it doesn't, but the reasoning will depend on your outlook. Build quality is a 10, price is a 10. It's a 10 overall for build quality and price, and I'll go into the reasons. If your outlook is similar to mine, typically weight equals build quality. That's just, you kind of make that association because that's more, so it costs more. But it doesn't. So, I mean, for that reason, the weight of it and the feel of it, it feels like it should be a lot more than 15 quid. But that aside, the build quality is actually very good. I mean, a couple of the drill holes could have done with being countersunk or drilled better, if you ask me, for the venting, but that's so fine. You've got to be a scrutinous detailer to see that. It's heavy. I suppose the positive part being too tight is a bit of build quality, and so is the switch, but it's not what I immediately think of. That's more the workings of the device. But the metal work is fine. You know, it's finished really well. It's designed and made really well. So for that reason, that's why it's getting a 10 in the price. £15.57 now. I think I paid £13 something for this when I bought it, but as is the way with FastTech, something goes up in popularity, it goes up in price, and they hope no one notices. But even at that price, £15.57, bargain if you ask me. It's actually my favourite and most used 26650 mod, and I've got about 10 of them now. So by far and away the best one, and I love it. So yeah, build quality and price is a 10. My overall, them niggles are niggles, and some people they may be completely off-putting, others they may go like me, I can solve that, it's not really an issue, but it's an annoyance. I don't care about the positive pin, the fact that I had to hammer it out. I don't care about the switch not firing every time, because I'm willing to push it in the middle every time. I'm willing to sand that positive content down when I have time, but I'm willing to do it. I love this thing. I loved the 1800 series one. You know, I thought it looked awesome. I thought it performed well. This one for me is even more than the 1800. I prefer this to the 1800 series. It's heavy, it's bulky, it's out there, it's ridiculous, it's everything I like in one mod, and for that reason this is just, I smile when I pick this up, I smile when I use it, and I don't really know why, because I'm sat there gorming like an idiot, and it's because of this. I really enjoy using this thing, and for 15 quid it's one of the best mods I've ever bought, for me. For me, you may not feel the same way, but for me, that's how I feel about it. If nothing else, it's a great paperweight and fantastic looking little ornament, but It functions pretty well. It looks pretty cool, that cape on sat on top, if you ask me. And what more can you want from your mod? So there you go. I'm recommending it. If you like the Panzer and you want a 26650 mod, get it. I've got a 2650 Stingray. It smashes that to pieces in terms of how it looks, how it performs, and everything about it. Hades doesn't compare to this. The King is good, but it's ugly. So you know, this is still better. Get one if you want one. If you don't want one, then don't watch this review. What are you doing at the end of the review? What are you still here for? But no, definitely guys, I recommend this hardcore. Love it to pieces, and yeah, glad it's in my collection. Other than that, thank you very much for watching guys. I've been Mr. P. Shall see you soon.